Yes, people, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. We're here for a bit of a West Ham news roundup, having a general chit chat about all of the latest West Ham news. I'm joined by the one, the only Andy Miles from West Ham United. Andy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Not bad. Enjoying my week off, which has been nice, but it's actually been productive as well, not just laying in bed. So I've actually been doing some stuff. So yeah, enjoying it. What about you?
Yeah, not bad. Much of the same. Enjoying not being at school. Back next week, but we've all got to go back, haven't we? So yeah, happy days. Here to talk about West Ham. We will. I think we're all just still a bit in dreamland, especially after the mad rush to get extra tickets for the Frankfurt game yesterday. Everybody's just in complete and utter
Yeah. Yeah, I
disbelief
just wanted
still.
to talk about that. I'm a member of quite a lot of Facebook groups, and I'm just hearing all these people just making all these sob stories up, like, "Oh, I haven't been since my grand's dog's best mates died. I really desperately needed." It's just all this pleading stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm very privileged enough that I'm a season ticket holder and I've got the opportunity to get it. But all this begging for tickets, I think it's just a bit of a an
Yeah,
annoying
it's
part
that,
of.
and the fact is as well is that, and the website selling them for 250 quid a pop, and it's just not the way. It's just not the way this should be done. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Everyone wants to be a part of it. I've been lucky. I've been a part of the Seville game at home, obviously the group games, obviously the Leon game, and it's an absolute privilege to be a part of it. But where were the people asking for tickets? Because the group games wasn't sold out.
Mm.
Do you see my point? Like that's the
Yeah,
only thing I will say.
yeah.
But no, enough on about a rant about tickets. I think everyone else is due.
um, let's see, we've got in a chat. Hello, everybody watching. Robert's in. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're keeping well. Right, without further ado, let's get into it then. And the main story that's been making its way around West Ham social media over the last day is about Torino striker Belotti. Yes, we're going to talk about transfers very slightly. Belotti, a well-known name in the world of strikers. He is 28 years old, sorry, and will leave Torino on a free transfer this summer. Apparently, according to several sources, Italian and over here in England, have said that the Torino striker, that's it, has been offered to West Ham United on a free transfer. Andy, a well-known name, 28 years old. What do you say?
I'd be all over it, mate. To be honest, I really
Yeah.
would be. He offers something different. The fact that we could potentially be playing in Europe next season as well. Don't know what competition. He's got the experience. He's just an all round striker. Don't get me wrong. He hasn't got pace, but Italy won the Euros without having any pace. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like I know it's saying we need it. We need another. That's all I keep hearing is we need another Antonio. We don't need another Antonio because we've played without him. His overall record, which is pretty good, close to 400 games, 150 goals. That's good. Do you know what I mean? It really is good, and he offers something different. He can actually hold the ball up, which
Yeah.
many people don't actually realise. He's won some trophies as well. He's obviously, yeah, I'd be all over it. I really would be. 42 appearances for Italy, 12 goals as well. That doesn't go unnoticed.
Mm.
Um, would he suit the Premier League? I think he will. You've seen some well-known Italians come over. Well, from the Serie A. You think of Shevchenko, wasn't
Mm.
really a success at Chelsea. Crespo, another one. So you sort of, when you think of it like that, can they adjust? But with me, I think he can because he's got the physique to do it.
Yeah, in terms of a head-to-head, well, now let's just use Antonio as our only striker. He's exactly the same height as Antonio, 5'11". Antonio wins headers, but maybe do you think if we do have this, is to offer something different? I agree with what you said about having something different than Antonio. When when if we sign him, then we are going to have to play football differently. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. We've got to play
Well,
football on the floor.
well, the one thing what you will say is he's not his heat map's going to be totally different than Antonio because he'll actually be in the box instead of
Yeah.
running out wide. So when you look at that and you've got the likes of Well, Bowen could cross the ball in. Pablo Fornals. Especially when you're chasing the game as well, could knock the ball down for the players, the number 10s of this world. Don't know who they'll be next year. We don't know, but I think he would be a good signing. And Italians know how to win.
Yeah,
Italians know how to win. So that's another mentality what he'll be bringing into the squad. And once you get one, you've proved with Czech boys. Some other people, like obviously I know we've got Ogbonna. He
yeah,
probably is going to be a huge influence on him coming as well, in my opinion. But once you start getting two or three in, you don't get them groups because the West Ham group's solid. But do you know what I mean?
mm,
The two or three from the same nationalities, like what we've got
yeah.
with Czech boys, it can really come good.
Yeah, it's building these little relationships with each one. You know, we've heard that Antonio's very good friends with Fornals. He's he's learning to speak Spanish for Fornals. Of course, you've got the Czech boys. You know, there's the kind of Johnson, Fredericks, and Rice kind of bond there as well. You know, and Creswell could probably add to that. Is that making these bonds in the side is also important. Let's see what else we've got in Terry. Hope you're well. Let's scroll down. Terry says the Rooster Belotti isn't prolific enough in front of goal, but he looks like our type of player. He will get stuck in. Just looking at his stats this season in Serie A, he's played 18 games, so he hasn't been starting every single game. He's got 5 goals with 1 assist in there. You know, we're never going to get somebody madly prolific like a Darwin Núñez we were linked with at the end of the last window. Realistically, we're not going to get somebody like that. But I think Belotti could be a good fit for a decent striker to bring in, to whether it's to challenge or overtake Antonio in the role of striker.
Yeah, no. When you say it's prolific, but like what we've been saying with Antonio,
Mm.
is Antonio Leon away. He didn't get the goal, but what he done to get
Super.
us the goals was
Yeah.
was good. Just so it's one or the other. But no, I think he will come good. Me personally,
Mm.
you've got a lot of players, and another player from the French league. He can play. He's not a striker, but is I'd be over Dybala as well. He's out of contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you could get one of these gems, and Happy Hammeret's probably not going to happy to see it. The more rumours I'm seeing is this is Lanzini's last season. I've
Mm.
heard it that he wants to go back home. So that's another player, and another player who can play there. As soon if I'm not saying if before anyone quotes me. I know a lot of West Ham. If we get Champions League football, that opens a whole new ball game for strikers as well.
Yeah, I think if we get Champions League football, whichever route we get it just opens another door. It opens another chest of players out into if they look and it goes you look at that and then you've got Champions League. We'll have a bit of that on the up as it is, but you look at it is in the fight is David Moyes going to look at it and go for an experienced, well-known striker, or is he going to perhaps go for somebody younger and not as well known? Which would you prefer, or would you leave it all down to David Moyes?
David Moyes, I trust. I still think Hoysek's going to get done.
Ooh, yeah,
I think that will get done in the summer. I think, like you said, in January, there's a lot. But I'm just looking here, mate. Lacazette is available on a free transfer as well. Imagine having Lacazette for someone. Don't get me wrong, he turned us down the first time, but you can sort of understand that as well.
yeah,
You can for what, but having someone like Belotti, let's just say Belotti's our main striker, and Lacazette, and maybe convert Antonio back to a winger, our options and more chance of goals has risen by 60-70%.
yeah. Because I think we've got to get past this stage now. If we need to keep growing, we've got to get this past this laughable stage of just having Antonio as our only striker at the club. If we're gonna continue going for this Europe, we're either going to go down the route of going to be picking young strikers out of here and there and everywhere, or we're going to put some statements out this summer and go, you know what, we're here, put in bids for these players. And Lacazette is a very good example for players like Lacazette, Belotti, these type of players that are more of a higher standard that we have You know, we know as a striker, as strikers, you did the series a few months ago. You know, strikers we've had in the last 10 years. It's laughable. We need to get past this stage now, and I think this summer is where we do it, Andy.
No, I agree. Like, don't get me wrong, I was frustrated more than anyone else the fact that we didn't bring a striker in January, but we've proved so far the one wasn't out there. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, we haven't, but we've still got this, and in David Moyes I trust. And if he's the budget, what we would have spent in January is obviously going to be here in the summer as well. So technically, we could go out that extra step and get that player with extra quality as well.
Yeah, which we need as well. But obviously, hopefully, we've got that. If we can get to the end of the season with not too many more, you know, situations where we're in a hole because of we haven't got enough players. If we can get there, and then you look back, and if this centre back issue isn't too much of a problem, which we all pray it's not, then we can look back at all the meltdowns we had in January and think, actually, we've got that extra money in the summer, knowing David Moyes knowing full well that 4 or 5 players at least are going to be leaving the club in the summer. You know, we know Mark Noble, Krause will be coming back as question marks over Areola, Yarmolenko, Fredericks, Masuaku. You could keep naming them. It would not be. But
do you know another one who's available on a free in the summer?
Sorry?
Do you know another striker who's available in the summer?
Go on then.
Ben Brereton Diaz still hasn't signed his contract. So that player, what we was going to spend all that money on, could be another one. You never know. This could be agreed. Like, how many leaks of transfers have been done in the last 18 months? Realistically, we didn't know about Areola. No. Soufal was just a random day, that we've got him. So a couple of these pre-contracts, Lingard. I think Lingard's done already. I think Lingard's done already in the summer. Everything's been agreed. So, as they say, no news is good news, and I think and it's proved that it is. I think it will be in the summer.
Yeah, so then almost when we dive deep into this now, it almost looks like David Moyes not signing anybody. Yes, it was frustrating at the time, but it's almost maybe it was just he couldn't sign anybody, or maybe he was looking at the bigger picture and thinking, if I can't find a perfect couple of players, I'm going to leave it. Hope we can get through the rest of the season, and with my transfer budget in the summer, which is going to be now hopefully bigger and better, let's go for it, you know. And that's what we're all hoping.
And the new owner coming in, I think I know you still got Cameron Brady doing their stuff in the Sun. We hear nothing apart from a wrong picture or something from David Gold on Twitter wishing someone happy birthday, like Fabianski and his Poland. Was it Arsenal kit or Poland? Arsenal kit, wasn't it?
Arsenal Fabianski, yeah.
That one, and David Sullivan's kept quiet. So you know, Jake's doing YouTube. The last 18 months has been amazing because we're on a high. Don't get me wrong, we moan when we lose, but it's just great time, and in David Moyes we trust. So
indeed. Let's take some more of your comments then. Robert says, we've been linked with so many strikers, I won't believe it until I see it, and we know what's going to happen. All of the journalists that are after their few bob on their little article website are going to recycle the ones that we've had over the last year or so. You know, the likes of, I can't think of one now, but the silly names that we get linked with. You know, will it happen? Probably not. But Martial, that will come back. That's just one I just plucked out the air. But players that we're just not going to get and have been recycled over the last year or so. No doubt, even if we sign them or not, we're going to wear the likes of Kaleta Carr and all of these names we thought we were close to are going to come back out in the summer. We've just got to be careful and pick out the ones which we think have got an element of truth in them. But Terry says, Paul Onuachu, of course, scored 35 and 41 appearances for the Smurfs. Genk. Yeah, but it's all well and good doing that. But when we played Genk, he wasn't all that. He was a big physical player, wasn't he, Andy? But Paul Onuachu, he wasn't all of that when he came to the London Stadium.
The one thing what I will say is that he doesn't stop moving, which is like Antonio. So if you wanted a like for like from that aspect, that'll be good. But yeah, mate, remember? Well, you probably won't. 2006 got to the FA Cup final. Dean Ashton, Teddy Sheringham, Marlon Hell, Bobby Zamora. We had 4 strikers at the club. I can't remember the last time we had 4 strikers at the club. Probably when we come up in the Championship, when you had Carlton Cole, Vazte, Baldock and Maynard, but that was it. Like we've never known, and that one could come through the door. One thing what I would say, mate, is it says Borati's got a bicep injury and no return date at the minute as
Oh,
well.
oh really?
I've just checked, so that's something else to look out for as well.
Yeah, so maybe he's 28. Maybe there's an injury history there, but I'm sure David Moyes' backroom staff.
Oh no,
Um,
I'm just saying. I just saw that he's got an injury. I'm not saying we shouldn't because of that,
oh,
but
yeah, yeah, I see what I mean. I see what I mean. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Since Terry says fair point, Antonio was just brilliant in Lyon. Hold up play was different class indeed. Terry says we need European football of some variety next year. Yeah, we do, because we're not going to sign, we're not going to be talking on air about these players like Belotti, Lacazette, all of these players that are bigger names, which 3 years ago we would have went, oh, yeah, he'd be brilliant, wouldn't he? But now it's got to become a reality if we want to stay up here. We need to be signing these European proven players from this club.
not just signing them at the latter of the window. Get them done the
Yeah.
first week of July, so they've got
Joe Allen,
pre-season. Yeah. Literally,
yeah.
they know how you like. Yeah, there's a lot of players who have come in, and Moyes hasn't really got a transfer run, if you're not including Hugo in his first spell. But since his new one, he hasn't. Like Vlasic, I'm going to give another year. That's probably debatable for everyone concerned, but I'm not going to judge Vlasic because the same as Saïd Benrahma. Saïd Benrahma wasn't outstanding last year, and has proved it. So Moyes hasn't got a player on. Moyes wants that player, obviously. He was at Millwall Hull on Bank Holiday Monday, obviously seeing Potter, so that's obviously another one to consider. So yeah, all good.
Yeah, he's been out scouting, doing his work, and as well, Carlton Cole put on Twitter a couple of days ago. David Moyes came to the under 16s. I don't know whether it was a game or training session, and came in and gave them some coaching tips for the under 16s. So there's both elements. If things like this are true, is that David Moyes wants to get these youth and get them in and pluck players out the air from the Championship, like a Lewis Potter, like a Brenton Diaz, hopefully Championship. But then we've got to be looking at these bigger names as well, where people are going, oh, that's a statement of intent. But let's have a look here. Robert says, I wouldn't sell any players until we have a replacement for it. Yeah, someone on a free, or if an academy player is able to step up, one in, one out. Yeah, that's exactly what we've got to do. We've always got to do 2 in, 1 out in a way. I think because of the tightness, we can't let 2 or 3 players go and then start thinking about bringing players in, because that's just a complete element for disaster with the incredibly small squad we've got. We don't want to be with a weak left hand, be in a situation where we've got less than what we already had because we've had to let players go, and we haven't
I agree.
got off our bum and started signing anybody yet.
No, I agree, mate. Like I said, I think if we get transfers done early, that'll be a big intent. It's just hard, man. It's so hard to predict, and the fact that we're sitting here guessing means that as well.
Yeah, well, let's have a look here. JJ, hope you well, mate. Just joining in, but I'm going to play from the start. Hope you well. Hope you well, mate. And when you see this, thank you very much for coming on. Hammerhead, hope you well, mate. Harley, the salami. Would you take Weghorst if Burnley go down? Now, that's an interesting one. We were linked with him. He went to Burnley. It looked like a good bit of business, but he's fell into the darkness at Burnley.
Mate, he goes down like anything. I don't want that kind of player for us. He's not. The chances he's had, no, I think he's probably got some clause that he probably goes for like 3 or 4 million if they get relegated or anything. But I wouldn't go near him. I wouldn't go near him at all.
No. Hammerhead says, has Benrahma even worked out at West Ham, considering we're looking to move him on? Well, I'll tell you what, that's a whole nother debate for another day. We've got another 2 or 3 subjects to get through. We could be here till 4 o'clock talking about Benrahma. But yeah, I agree. It's still 50-50 for both Benrahma and Vlasic for different reasons. It's a big 6 weeks for them at West Ham, I think, until the end of the season, Andy.
Yeah, no. You say big weeks. I think it's just everyone in general.
Yeah.
Big game on Sunday, which we'll probably get onto. But yeah, it's just nice we're still involved in a competition in April/May.
Well, exactly, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. A final comment before we move on. Robert says, I would take up the buy Areola option, get Pope or Johnson, sell Randolph and prepare for Fabianski's retirement next year. Sorted. Yeah, we can't go about doing the bare minimum here, and that's key, I think. The bare minimum is to either let Areola go and get one in, or just get one in. I think, let's look ahead a year and think realistically Randolph and Martin aren't going to be here. Fabianski's going to retire. Let's start working ahead and start getting some keepers in. But
I don't think he would take third choice, though.
No.
That's the one thing I will say.
Yeah.
I agree with what Robert's saying, but that's a tough choice to pick to think he would be third choice. But no, every comment's good.
Yeah, to be fair. But anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about Yarmolenko and then Chelsea's stumble and then a bit more about that. So, Yarmolenko has done a interview in some sort of magazine. Anton was telling me earlier on the network that he's basically said that there's a 95% chance that he will leave West Ham in the summer. He's got a 1-year contract extension, but he says West Ham have not approached him about that extension or anything to do with him staying at West Ham past this summer. Andy, is there a bit of maybe not after his few last performances that he's got a couple of goals, or do you still think it's time to say goodbye to Mr. Yarmolenko?
I think it is time to say goodbye. I've just got his stats up here: 80 appearances, 13 goals and 7 assists. Paid £17 million, I think we did pay for him from Borussia Dortmund. Not the player what I thought we was gonna get after seeing him, but when he plays for Ukraine, he's a different player as well. But it's just a fairy tale. Obviously, him getting the winner for Seville, there's still a long way to go. He could still heavily be involved, and he has got that extra spring in his step. But I think obviously what's going on in his country has been influenced by that as well. Getting on the pitch is a way of forgetting about what's going on. But no, I think he will. I think he'll probably leave. And
do you think if his wage situation was any different with that, would that change your mind? He's getting paid 115 grand a week currently.
I've just had a look at his age, mate, as well. He's 32, so that's quite old for. I know Mikel Antonio is probably about the same age, but well, no, not for me.
Yeah.
He's got great memories. He's scored crucial goals for us. Chelsea, what stayed us in the league. Seville, obviously, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
His first season, he scored 2 worldies. He's provided great memories, but for me, no.
Yeah, I think to be fair, this comment sums it up. Yarmolenko just isn't mobile enough for Moyes' system, but a great player in the right system that suits his laconic style. I think he's just not quite there for the Premier League, if I'm honest. And he's
pace.
Yeah, we are an incredibly paceless squad as it is, and he is yet again another paceless player. Where we've seen it against Aston Villa that he's got that bit there. He got us 2 points in that game. By that turn shot into the corner, we know it's there, but we don't see it enough. And I don't think he's up to the standard that Moyes wants and sets in his system and the way we play and the way we go forward. I just don't think he's anywhere in our future. But we'll have to wait and see. Just to go back to Ben Rama, I think Hammerhead says just consistency he's missing, and that's what makes the difference between a Premier League player and a Championship player, in my opinion. He hasn't made the big enough step up. He hasn't. For me, really, Andy.
He's an impact sub. He's a player when you're chasing the game, he can niggle something out, but he isn't. He's just got the worth. Compare him to Pablo Fornals, who gets goals and gets assists. He hasn't got the work rate, and he doesn't fit the system. Maybe playing him as a number 10, you could get more out of him, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Harley says, I can see Januzaj. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the former Manchester United man? Was he there when Moyes was there?
Yeah, he's 28, 26, 28, I think.
Yeah. I can see Januzaj coming to us to replace Yarmolenko. Expiring contract, can play both wings. Kicked on in Spain, gets on with Moyes. He was always a player that you feel could do something at Man United, but didn't quite work out in the way. But
he's a good player. He's a very good player. But mate, like you said, we could do. I think every single West Ham YouTube channel, excuse me, could do a transfer link to we've been linked with ever, or players that we could potentially buy, and would still have like 500 left. So I think it's just I'm not going to take no notice of rumours, to be honest, until they're done.
Yeah, exactly. Until we hear our man X saying something about it, we can talk about it on air. But is there really anything to go off it unless we hear it for those big sources? I think we just don't know. Jake, what does laconic mean there? apparent lack of interest, of enthusiasm. That's the word of the day. Andy, did you know what that word meant 10 minutes ago?
No.
Well, there you go. We've all learnt something today then. See, you won't get that anywhere else. Won't get that anywhere else. Robert says, it depends where we end up if we are not in Europe or not. Need to learn from this season and the squad depth needed for league and European football. Yeah, if we kick on with a good window, which we've said for the last 2 years, Andy, pretty much, but if we kick on with a good window, anything's achievable then, depending on how the rest of the season goes, depending on how far more we go in the Europa League and what our league position is. But we've got to go for it now.
Even considering the position what we're in, and like, don't get me wrong, a lot of us are making us favourite for Europa League, which would be amazing. Frankfurt's no easy side, but I would even take Conference League. I really would. It's a good competition, European football, and your chance of winning a trophy. It's not what we. It's mad to think, like, everyone keeps saying 2 years ago we're fighting relegation, and now we're deciding potentially Champions League football. It's mad.
Mad. Completely and utterly mad. But let's have a look here. Hammerhead said, would have loved to see a 26-year-old Yarmolenko at West Ham, but everything happens for a reason. Yarmolenko, Euro goal, deserves a statue. What a moment that was, man. What a moment. It was just everything about it. And I got goosebumps. I shivered up my spine, and I'm like, what a moment. NWO says, Benny can't take or make a tackle and doesn't produce enough. I don't think, to be fair, many people can argue with that too much. He can't cross the road. He pulls out of tackles, and when he gets in those positions, he doesn't produce enough. Andy, anything to add to that?
I don't know. I've seen him get a lot of stick, and like, I don't get me wrong, he wasn't the greatest on Burnley. Obviously, Ramadan is. I'm not making excuses, but obviously there is Ramadan at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not, like you said. I don't want to get into a Ben Rama debate now. I think it's just a waste of everyone's time. I think, in my opinion, everyone like a backside, because I was going to say the A word. Everyone's got like an opinion. Everyone's got one. So we could sit here and do it.
Exactly. Right, let's move on to one of the final things we're going to talk about today, and that is Chelsea had one job last night and they messed it up. Chelsea stumbled against Arsenal. Well, they did more than stumble. They got battered last night. Defensively appalling. I haven't watched much of Chelsea this year, Andy, but they were awful last night. I don't know if you saw any of it. They were completely and utterly awful. Hopefully more of the same for Sunday, but it opens that top four race up again. Level on points are the North London clubs.
It just proves how crucial Rudiger is for Chelsea.
Yeah.
As soon as he's gone missing, it like an apple crumble, like Tottenham normally do. They crumbled bad. Can they learn from it? Yes. I think this is a bad time to play them now, because they're going to need a reaction. I would rather them win yesterday, and I think we had more of a chance. That's three defeats at home in all competitions in a row. Unheard of from Chelsea, probably since Abramovic have been there. We can hurt them, but I think Frankfurt's on the players' minds.
Yeah. I think as well it's either going to go one of two ways. Chelsea are either going to have a reaction or they're going to keep on crumbling without Rudiger in that side. It's going to go one or two ways.
If Rudiger plays, I don't think we win. I think it's literally like that.
Yeah.
If Rudiger, Antonio will have a field day against Sarr. Probably Thiago Silva will probably play. I think Azpilicueta plays as the other centre back or Reece James. So yeah, for that definitely.
But do you want some good news though, Andy?
Is Rudiger out?
Thomas Tuchel fears Antonio Rudiger could miss Chelsea's clash with West Ham on Sunday through injury. Rudiger was absent for the Chelsea squad from their meeting with Arsenal last night due to a groin issue. Thomas Tuchel himself said it's not good. I don't think he will play against West Ham.
Yeah, I think we do have a chance then. One player is... I want to give a special mention, for, actually, considering they don't play for West Ham, is a fair play to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's got his head down and managed to get himself back in the side. He got the crucial goal in the FA Cup. I've always been a huge fan of him, and like a Jack Wilshere, a Jack Collinson, injuries have always got in the way, and he's even admitted that. But yeah, what a player! And the one player I fear now, I wouldn't have said that a month ago since his hat trick or two against, was it a hat trick or two against Southampton? Timo Werner.
Yeah,
he's turned into a complete animal.
Yeah.
And especially with only Virgil van Dawson as our only fit centre back at the minute, I fear for him. And Lukaku, both of them potentially could start.
I tell you what, though, Lukaku, he's been awful. He's due a goal. Rock up West Ham. I don't like to say it. He loves West Ham, Lukaku. Whatever club he's at, he always likes to go against West Ham. He hasn't scored for a while. It's written in the stars that. But hopefully not. Let's take some comments then. Comment of the day. Terry says, I've just informed the missus that the reason I haven't cleaned the garage out this week is due to the fact I am laconic towards this task. Well, there we go. Harley says Chelsea should be called the milkmen. Utter bottle jobs brownie. All right, let's glad you enjoyed your holiday, Jake. Thank you very much indeed. NWO says try lackadaisical. Yeah, that makes you sound a bit more, up there. Lackadaisical. Good word. Harley says, I'd love Loftus-Cheek at West Ham. At one stage, we were linked with him on a loan, weren't we? When was it? About a year ago? I think.
Yeah, so he went to Fulham instead. He's he's a good player, but I think wages the same as Hudson-Odoi. But if he wants football, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry. Mate, do you know I've actually been up early every day this week, which has been good. I'm not just, like I said, I've not been laying around, and I think I might need to have a little siesta, I think, after this.
Well, just do it like you're on holiday. NWO says Loftus-Cheek was a class act, but he is getting back to being a very good player. And when we played him at Craven Cottage in the whole Souček red card game, he was one of the very few players that season gave Declan Rice a flipping good game, and he did in that midfield. Yeah. He was really, really good. Hammerhead says, is Diop actually out though? Well, we think so, 99%. Well, don't quote me on that, but we think he's out injured. The club haven't confirmed it, but that's up to David Moyes and his staff whether they put that out. I thought it was strange they announced the Zuma thing, so I can see why people are saying, is he actually out if we haven't announced it like we did with Zuma? But we all think he's out pretty much.
The way he went down, and I want to say that, like, Burnley were ugly. Few players got a few late challenges. Obviously, Brentford was the same, causing the Zuma injury. So we've just been a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I agree, Hammerhead. Nothing's been confirmed, but I'm going to say he's out as well.
Yeah, we think so. So yeah, nothing has been confirmed from the club, but we think he's out, which leaves a few options, Andy. Let's just we're not going to turn this into a Chelsea preview, and we do that in the next few days. But one simple question: who starts? It's Craig Dawson. I don't want no explanation. Let people in the chat do that. Alessi. Well, I think that's the obvious option with it. People Johnson
left-footed as well.
Centre back.
Left-footed as well.
Left-footed, yeah, which could be. But Stamford Bridge is not going to be full, with a massive Frankfurt game coming up. David Moyes is going to have to really, really have some balls to do that, because that's nothing David Moyes likes to do. I could see him putting Johnson at centre back, starting Soufal on the right and Creswell on the left. Obviously, I could see him doing that. I would be more shocked if he puts Elise at centre back more than Johnson. But
we'll give you a sort of stare, not just for West Ham, but Nat Phillips chucked in against us. I'm not saying that big game what Liverpool needed for the title last year. He come in. Man United have done it with Johnny Evans. I remember Johnny Evans playing for Manchester United. They chucked him in. Like there's a few stories around, and he's an under 20. He's the under 23s captain. He's built. He's 6'5", I think, 6'4". So he's no slouch. He speaks very well and made a very good account of himself in Zagreb in the Zagreb game. So for me, I have no doubt that I think if they put anyone in the under 23s, I think they'll give a good account for themselves.
Definitely. Hammerhead says that I think we'll play with a back five. I can see what you're saying, but I think we don't know how to work in a back five. Dawson hasn't got a clue. He hasn't got a clue how to play in a back five. West Ham's defence on a whole, I don't know what it is, but we just seem to get confused when we play in a back five. Unless David Moyes is 100% confident he's got over the woes we had at Tottenham. That was awful. Back five we started, but we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We were like, it was men v boys. I don't think we can risk that again. It's got to be a flat back four with whoever's at centre back, I think. But I can see what you're saying now, Hammerhead, but not for me. Siestas at away forward, Andy. all the time. Just play. NWO says just play Dawson at the back. Dawson at the back. Everyone in attack. West Ham to win Europa League. Oh dear. It's what it is, isn't it? We got to go with it. Dawson must do his grand Duffy Gray impersonation. You shall not pass. Nobody's getting past Dawson. And how he did not get in that community team of the season for the 2022 season, I do not know. Craig Dawson's parody account was absolutely fuming. But yeah, it's just big Dawes. We love him. Harley says Moyes has said the league is his priority, so we will have our strongest 11 against Chelsea.
But what is our strongest 11?
Yeah, I ain't got a clue. Is it Manzini, Ben Rama? Who's playing here? Who's playing there? Who's playing right back? You know, Johnson, Soufal, whoever. Who is it going to be?
Johnson, the last few games, has been better left back than he has right back. So
I tell you what, Johnson against Burnley wasn't at all.
No,
was not.
He frustrated me so much. He just didn't get the ball out of his feet.
Yeah. And the final question of the day to everybody in the chat as well. After last night's brace, Nketiah on a free, yes or no?
No.
No, I agree. Anything? Any reasoning behind that?
What's that? 3 in 29 games? No, not good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Craig Dawson's got more goals than him.
Exactly. All these Arsenal fans are hyping him up now because I tell you what, I think it was all 4 of Arsenal's goals last night could have been avoidable.
Yeah.
For Chelsea, the first one was just awful, and Nketiah's second one, that was just defensive shambles. They were kicking it here, there, and he just ended up at his feet and he kicked it in. Nah, not good enough. Yeah. Not good enough. But yeah, he scored against us in September 2020. The question has been posed. Nketiah on a free, yes or no? I say no. Andy says no. Terry says no. Well, there we go. Hammerhead says I'd go with Fredericks wing back, Soufal, Dawson, Creswell as centre backs, and Johnson left wing back.
That's too negative, in my opinion.
Yeah. Chelsea's defending was Sunday League, and like I said, they crumble like an apple crumble without Rudiger in there. But we'll talk about that in the coming days as we build up to the Chelsea game. Andy, thank you very much for coming on.
No worries, mate. No worries. I hope everyone's enjoying their day. Indeed.
Everyone go and enjoy their day. Whatever you're going to do, I'd go with Dawson in goal if I could. Honestly, I'll put him up front anywhere. Do what he likes. Make him manager. Craig Dawson, where is he? He's not Craig Dawson. I do apologise. It's the one, the only Ballon Dawson. There he is. Craig.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant. Soufal could play centre back. There's plenty of options, but we're going to discuss that on the Chelsea preview at some point. But from me and Andy, come on, you irons. Thanks for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Check out our channel sponsors, SIM Carver & Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Go and check out Andy's channel at West Ham Reunited. And we'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys, and bye-bye.